Setting up Lightbox is a fairly easy process. The most important issue, though, is understanding where the links to your files are. And I'll show you my little workaround. Basically, you start off on the website, go to Gallery Options, and I have a couple of links here. One is for support files. These are just files you can work with for the gallery, so I'm going to go ahead and download those. Just go ahead and download those. And I'm going to look for where that downloaded to, my downloads folder. And sorry for all the mess there. I'm going to double click this, and what you'll see is a gallery folder. Now I'm going to copy and paste this into my website. The website I'm using is just a mock website called mysite.com, and I'm going to go ahead and paste them. I'm just going to click and drag them over into my images folder, so that now inside my images folder I have a gallery folder, and you'll notice I have two folders called large and thumbs. So normally what I do is, if I have a bunch of photographs from my camera, I'll download them into my computer, and then I'll open them up with Photoshop or Lightroom, and I will optimize the images. These are fairly small for large images. You can get a sense of the size there. You can go a little bigger on those. The important thing is the thumbs. Now I'm going to show you what I have so far. I have one vertical, two verticals, and one horizontal. And as you can see, they're all different sizes, so that's not going to look very clean unless you're going for a Pinterest look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these in Photoshop. Right here. And my favorite thing to do is to go to Window, Arrange, and where is it? Float in all windows, so that you can see them side by side, like that. And you can see they're kind of disjointed. Now there is a mosaic style that you can use. I'm going to try to be really uniform with mine, so what I normally do is I hit the crop tool. I go up to width and height resolution, and I'm going to change this to 100 pixels by 100 pixels. You have to make sure you type the pixels in, or otherwise it'll be 100 inches and it'll be a lot bigger than you want. And then for each one of these I'm going to kind of position, I'm using my arrow keys here to reposition the picture to get the area of greatest interest. See, I'm cropping the image out, but I'm still giving a pretty good indication of what the image is. Basically, when the user clicks this, it'll enlarge to a larger version, and that will have the full image. Same thing here. I think this, I'll just kind of arrow key it over just a tad so we can kind of center it on the mountain. Again, I'm just trying to get an indication of what the image is like, getting the most interesting part of the area. Okay, so now they're all equally uniform. I'm going to export, save for web, and I'm going to save these all as JPEGs. They're pretty small, but no reason to save them in any other reason. And I'm going to save them and overwrite the actual thumb gallery. Just replace those. Take the next one, export, and so on. Okay, once you've finished all three, I'm just going to look back in the directory, and now when I scroll through, you'll see that all three of them are very much the same size. So you can see 100 pixels is not a really large thumbnail, so you can 200, 300 pixels, whatever you want. Just make sure that the thumbnail is much smaller than the actual image. Alright, I'm going to leave my large the same. Okay, so again, images, gallery. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Dreamweaver. I'm going to take my files here. What I have is the template for the site. It's called mysite.html. And what you'll see here, let me just, what you'll see here is just the working site that I have. I'm just going to pull my files panel over for a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my gallery in this area. So this is going to be my gallery page. So the first thing I'm going to do is File, Save As, change it to Gallery. Now this is where it's important to understand where you're putting this file. And I'm going to go ahead and keep this on the root level. It's on the same level as my index page here. I'm just going to replace that. All right. And I'm gonna build up a couple of things first in my HTML. So I'm gonna replace all my article content with my images. So I'm gonna create 3 divs because I've only got 3 images. Now, if you have 6 images, then you may want to do 3 different rows and so forth. This is basic CSS. I'm just gonna call it div class gallery. And since I've got 3 images in a row, oops, I'll have those 3 divs in a row. Now if I had 2 rows, then I could keep the gallery to 33%. This is how I'm going to set up the CSS. So it's .gallery, and we're going to have width 33%. I'm going to pause here for a second. Okay, so I've got a width of 33%, float left, and text align equals center. The float left, of course, means it's going to create 3 columns, padding 10 pixels, and of course, because of that, I got to do the box sizing border box. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to where my class gallery is, and I'm going to start importing those thumbnails I created. So insert image, go to the thumbs, and I'm just going to take them one at a time. By the way, you can see how quick this is just by using the Dreamweaver interface. Real fast, I just go ahead and place and insert. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a link. The easy way to do this, now for those of you not doing Lightbox, you can just do this without putting Lightbox in, so you can just do this process. Just link now to your large images, select them, and again I'm just using the Dreamweaver interface for this, and the properties panel. Real easy way to write a lot of code very quickly, like that. Alright, so now I'm just going to click Save, and I'm going to preview in Chrome. So what I have now is a link to each of the small thumbnail images, and then it clicks to the large image. As you can see, this is problematic because I've just lost my website, so the user would have to go to the back button. Another thing, you could open them up with blank, underscore equals blank, but again, that's kind of difficult for the user. So those of you who feel pretty confident with coding, now let's go to Lightbox. So back on the website, I have a link to Lightbox and instructions. I have found that the instructions are somewhat unreliable, so I'm going to show you how I usually do this. I'm going to click Download, and I'm going to go into the area here, and there's my download. Double click that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the name of this folder really easy, and it's important you do this, and you'll see why in just a minute. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this, go back into my website, and I'm just going to paste that in there. Whoops. So I'm going to paste that in there. I just said replace because I had it in there already. So here's my Lightbox, and the important thing, I think, the most easiest thing is to look at your example page. It gives you an example page. You can double click it, and it's already working. So what I like to do is I actually like to use the code on the example page to use as a template. So I'm going to go back to Dreamweaver now. Now that I've got Lightbox set up in here, there it is right here. Just open that. Go to the examples. It's in the example folder, index.html. I'm going to double click that. Basically, I happen to know where all the code is. Normally you'd have to kind of investigate a little bit, but I know that I have to bring in this link right here. It's a CSS file. So if you look at the pathway here, it says go out of examples, go into this dist folder, and then to CSS. So that's the pathway to the relationship of this file. So I'm going to copy this over to my gallery. But the thing you need to realize is that your gallery is in a very different place. Just going to do do a quick little comment there. I'm going to paste this, but this now is wrong. This part is correct, but I have to create the correct relationship. And the correct relationship from the root is to go into Lightbox, then to dist folder, and so on. So all you have to do is get rid of these two dots, and then just put in Lightbox, so it knows to go into the Lightbox folder and so forth. So now this relationship is correct. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the bottom, because I happen to know that this is also where the location is. So I'm going to copy that, and that's just before the end of the body tag, so I'm just going to paste that. Again, update your link like that, and now both of those files, and you can test them out by looking up at the top, and you'll see that your JS files are connected. Some of these are and some of these aren't. Some of them are local, but you have to know that these two are in the correct place. You'll know if they're not because it won't work once it happens. Then the next thing you do is you actually connect the images. So I'm going to look at each of these images that work, and the only thing you need to know, well, first of all, let's look at these, your two options. These are separate images, which come in separately. These are a group of images, which means that you can also move forward on them. You'll see that right there, and there's including the forward arrow. So these, I want to emulate these more likely. So I'm going to take a look at how they code these, and what you see is data Lightbox and data title. So all you do is take both of these lines of code, copy them, and then go over to your own images. And they are there. You got to paste these in your A tag. So I'm going to paste that. The next A tag, where is it? A tag is here. Oops, I had to put a space in there. And then the last A tag is right there. Alright, so I'm just copying and pasting their code here. But if everything is correct, I just do my little quick preview now. Voila. Now you'll notice at the bottom, let me see if I can shorten this. Notice at the bottom is that code that I copied in there. So all you have to do to replace that is just go ahead and look. It says data Lightbox example set. If you change this, you have to change all of them so that they all are connected. And then the second one, data title, is where you would type in your description. And that's it.